Hey guys, coming to you live from Epcot, in Italy Pavilion. You would think Italy, doing pizza right? I know mine's called doing it differently. But this, what is that? This is like a wet wallet.
That looks good too, huh?
You know what it tastes like? I'll show you what that pizza tastes like. Yeah, I'm better off if I put a little tomato sauce on this paper plate. That's the kind of pizza that it is. Let's do pizza the right way. Come on, let's go. Welcome back, everybody. Don't get me wrong. If you enjoy Via Napoli during your vacation in the middle of Epcot, enjoy it. Continue to enjoy it. Continue to make memories with your family and continue that restaurant. Just for me, I'm a kid from Queens. Pizza's a little different. But today, we're going to make pizza together. And I'm going to show you how. Simple ingredients, couple of steps. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing you need is a cup of water. The key when you're making any dough, you want to make sure for the water to be between 110 and 120 degrees. So we're just checking right now, and right now we're at 118, so that's in between that. So just put that to the side. And to that, we're going to add 1 package of yeast. So we're just going to take the yeast and add that in there. What the warm water does, it actually starts to activate it. But the key thing to activate any type of yeast is sugar. So we're going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then we're going to give this a quick mix. Just want to incorporate the yeast, the sugar, and the warm water. I'm going to set that off to the side for right now. All right, next step, I have a food processor. I do it because it's a little bit easier. You don't have to do it this way. But for our dough, we're going to take 3 cups of flour. So I'm just going to pour 3 cups of flour right in. Teaspoon of salt. So I like to give that a quick mix before I go any further. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. 2, 3. And then we'll give this a mix. Then we come back to our yeast. You can see it's all started to bloom, right? It's getting nice. It's all activated at this point. So now we're just gonna add this in. And you're just going to let this go until it becomes, you can see the dough is starting to form. Probably going to be looking at like 3 to 4 minutes of a full mix. You want to make sure that the gluten is getting mixed in, everything's getting incorporated at this point. See how it is? It should be sticky. It's going to have a little bit. You could always add more flour to it, but remember, we're going to probably have that when we put it down. I'm happy with this. Push it and watch it comes back a little bit. I'm happy where we are right now. So I'm going to take this out. Folks, this is the sharpest blade in the world. So please be careful when using this. Just grab these little bits. At this point, You know, sometimes I would add a little flour just to do this part, but we just made this dough so it's nice and fresh. I'm just going to make it into a nice ball. And then we're going to take the bowl with the olive oil that we put in there. We're going to mix that around. And this is just so it doesn't stick. It's going to take a nice towel, cover that up. And you're going to let this rest for about anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So let's going to put this in the warmest spot of your house and we'll come back. All right. So the dough is sitting in a warm spot. It's rising. Let's move on to our sauce. Tomato sauce for pizza. It's very different than a traditional Italian tomato sauce. Folks, use the right ingredients. So these are San Marzano tomatoes. San Marzano in Italy, it's actually at the base of, it's a location. It's in the base of a volcano. And the volcano really affects the soil and adds so much to the growth of the tomatoes. So what I like to do is I take the San Marzano tomatoes, and you're going to like this sauce because it's easy, but all you want really are the tomatoes. So we're going to just get these, and we're going to drain out the liquid per se. Okay, so we got our tomatoes here. You can see all the liquid that's coming out from the tomatoes. We'll move this into here. Do it again. So you're just straining off you can see, look inside the measuring cup, how much of the liquid that's coming off. And that's what affects pizza sometimes. It's actually the sauce that's so watery that it really, you want to remove moisture when you're making pizza. So we're just going to add the tomatoes into there. This, you put in a refrigerator. We'll make this in a different dish. You could freeze it, and you got you probably got 4 months on that frozen. Garlic, just usually should be 1 clove of garlic to this amount, but 1 for you and 1 for me. And then what I like to add is some red pepper flakes. People right away, they think, oh, you're adding so much. I don't like red pepper and it's too much heat. It's actually just bringing out the flavor of the sweetness of the tomatoes. Okay, so this has been washed. I'm just going to give this a quick pulse, not too much. Just want to get that garlic chopped up. Incorporate the pepper into the tomatoes. Oh, there we go. I'm going to grab a quick spoon and show you. So, it's thick. It's, I mean, you can see, it's just, I mean, you can eat it just at this point. It's coating the spoon. So it's got some character to it. But here we go. So there you go, folks. Look, you can tell that it's risen. It's doubled in size. It's firm enough where it's bouncing back to you. This looks like a very good dough. I might not have mentioned earlier, the type of flour that I use is 00. 00 just means it is the least amount of gluten. Flour goes in by numbers. So you have 00, 1, 2, up, and it actually affects the gluten all the way up to whole wheat, which would be full. So I'm just going to roll this in a little bit of flour just to see. I'm going to grab my bench scraper. I'm actually going to cut this into half. Keep that guy set right there. And this guy, this is the guy we're going to work. I'm just pulling apart. Alright, so we got our dough and our sauce. Alright, now remember, you do not want too much sauce. Remember I said earlier, you basically, you don't want to add too much moisture to the pizza. Okay, so I'm just adding very, very little bit of sauce. The whole thing does not have to be covered. You can see you got the chunks of the garlic right there. Now, I hope you didn't forget, because what's the name of the show? Disney Done Differently. So how are we going to do this a little different? Well, it's a famous place in Queens, New York called Rose's Pizza. And what I love about them is they actually put the cheese on the bottom. Then the sauce, and then they finish it with grated cheese. So what am I doing? I'm using some provolone. Okay. Now to the provolone, I'm going to add some mozzarella. So mozzarella cheese. This is a thick cut. You can get the little shredded ones. They're all going to melt the same. Now here's the key. Alright, now I'm going to do half, I normally wouldn't do this, but I'm going to add just half pepperoni, because I know a lot of people out there like pepperoni on their pizza. I personally do not. So I'm going to add half with the pepperoni. And then, here's the key. Just going to a little bit more of the tomato sauce across the top. What that's going to do is, as the cheese starts to melt, it's going to bring the tomato sauce incorporated into the cheese. Remember folks, we didn't cook this tomato sauce, right? Out of the can, San Marzano tomatoes, garlic. Here's the key. Pecorino. Never have enough cheese. So I'm going to take some pecorino and we're just going to grate some pecorino cheese across the top. Like that. In the oven. So we're going to the oven at 450 degrees. Cook that for a little bit. Now listen, everybody's oven's different. So when you're making pizza, you're going to have to judge it. We're going to start for 10 to 15 minutes at max, but we're going to check it along the way. The dough is nice. It's still pliable. Let's go. Alright, look at it. There's that beauty. The cheese is all melted in there. Got the nice caramelization. Pepperoni's on this side. Give this a little cut. This is going to be great. You got the cheese there. Let's see. Pizza's cooked perfectly through. Got everything, some goodness. All right, it's hot. It's there, folks. You got the crunchiness from the dough. You saw how fast we made that. Just need a little bit of time to let that rest. We didn't cook the tomato sauce. Added toppings a little differently. Please make these at home. Enjoy these with your family. It's pizza. You know how the saying goes. Even bad pizza is good pizza. This isn't bad. So I really just want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. If you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends and tell your friends. Till next time.